Imagine opening your eyes in the morning without the shrill sound of an alarm clock. There's no traffic to fight, no goals to hit, no emails piling up. Your only task upon waking is deciding how you want to spend the next few hours. For more than 300,000 years, this was the daily reality of every human being on Earth. Today, we accept it as normal to give about 90,000 hours of our lives to the job market. We spend a third of our waking existence building a career. But for 99% of our history, the very idea of having a job would have been considered complete madness. With no bosses, no wages, and no corporate obligations, what did people do to fill their time? Many believe that life before civilization was a hell of constant suffering and hunger. But science shows the opposite. In 1963, anthropologist Richard Lee decided to investigate this up close. He spent months living with the Jew/Hoansi, a tribe in the Kalahari Desert that still kept the traditional lifestyle of our ancestors. The result was surprising. Adults only needed to dedicate 15 to 20 hours a week to secure food for the whole group. The rest of the time was pure free time. And this isn't an isolated case. Similar studies with traditional peoples in South America, Tanzania, and Australia revealed exactly the same average of free time. While you probably clock a 40-hour work week, your ancestors secured their sustenance by working less than half of that. If you still doubt that life in the past was lighter, the answer is written in the skeletons. When we analyze the remains of hunter-gatherers and compare them to the first agricultural peoples, the difference is shocking. Hunter-gatherers, they were taller, had dense, strong bones, nearly perfect teeth, without the cavities caused by excess carbohydrates, and rarely showed signs of repetitive strain injuries. The first farmers, they showed reduced stature, spinal deformities caused by bent over field work, teeth, worn down by grain-based diets, and a visibly shorter life expectancy. Archaeology makes it clear, daily, repetitive manual labor was a late invention that made the human body sick. If prehistoric life were a daily survival test on the edge of death, there would be no room for the useless. Yet human history is full of expressions of pure creative leisure. The 30,000-year-old art galleries. In the Chauvet Cave in France, our ancestors used torchlight to create three-dimensional paintings with shadows and a sense of movement. This required days of dedication, skill, and, above all, spare time. The Paleolithic fashion. In South Africa, necklace beads made from seashells were found dating back 100,000 years. To make them, someone walked 40 kilometers to the sea, gathered the shells, and spent hours drilling them with stones just to create an aesthetic accessory. The first playlist. In Germany, a flute carved from vulture bone 40,000 years ago shows that music and acoustics were already mastered purely for aesthetic pleasure. How would a full day of this lifestyle actually look? The day begins at sunrise. The group gathers around the ashes of the previous night's fire, eats whatever is left from the day before, gathered fruit or dried meat, and talks. There's no rigid schedule. If there's enough food stored, no one goes hunting. The morning might be spent fixing a tool, weaving a basket, or just talking. When hunting is necessary, it doesn't look like the violent battles from movies. Humans evolved as long-distance runners. We used persistence hunting. We followed prey at a steady pace under the sun until the animal, unable to sweat to cool its body the way we can, collapsed from heat exhaustion. It was a process that took a few hours and secured protein for several days. After lunch, the day's work was over. Afternoons were dedicated to what we'd now call absolute leisure. Napping in the shade, playing with children, and socializing. Anthropologist James Sussman observed that adults spent up to 6 hours a day simply strengthening bonds, talking, and laughing. In a society without written laws, other people's goodwill was your only life insurance. At night, the dynamic shifted. Research shows that while the day was used for practical conversations about survival, the night was the stage for imagination. Around the campfire, conversations turned into stories, legends, and myths. It was in the darkness, with a full belly and in safety, that religion, philosophy, and human culture were born. Even the way we slept has changed. The idea of sleeping 8 hours straight is a recent invention of the industrial era. Before electric light, humans practiced biphasic sleep. 1. They slept for about 4 hours right after nightfall, first sleep. 2. They woke up in the middle of the night for 1 to 2 hours to talk, reflect in the dim light, or be intimate. 3. They slept for another 4 hours before dawn, second sleep. Everything changed 10,000 years ago with the agricultural revolution. The shift from foragers to farmers was a one-way street. By planting seeds, we managed to feed more mouths. More people created the need for more crops, and the cycle closed in on itself. There was no going back. The light labor of the forest was replaced by the exhausting routine of plowing, weeding, harvesting, and defending the land from invaders. As cities grew, social divisions, bureaucracy, and finally the idea that your lifetime could be bought and sold all emerged. The job was born. Today, we live in a paradox. We spend our entire lives accumulating achievements, money, and status within an artificial system, dreaming of the day we can finally retire and get our time back. Our ancestors were already born retired. They didn't need to make it in life because life itself was already enough. They made art because they had time. We try to squeeze art into whatever gaps are left over from work. We're not biologically different from them, but our current routine is an anomaly in the history of our species. In the end, civilization gave us comfort and security, but charged us the highest price of all: our freedom and our own time.